This is a polar walkthrough for identifying uncoded diagnoses for a data cleansing activity. So this activity guides practices to identify patients that have an uncoded diagnosis of an intellectual disability. The purpose of this is so that a clinician can go into the individual patient files and enter in a coded diagnosis. The reason it's important to have a coded diagnosis on a patient file is so that in tools such as Polar, we can identify patients that have certain conditions for quality improvement activities and evaluation purposes. So the first step is to log into Polar, select your reports, and to select your clinic summary report. From here, I'm going to navigate to the diagnosis report by coming up here and hovering over clinical and selecting diagnosis. Here you can see a range of different reports on the diagnosis that have been collected in my patient files. I'm going to put on two filters. I'm going to only look at patients who are marked as active, so patient status active, and give it a green tick. I'll close those filters. I'm also going to add in that I only want to look at diagnoses that are active. So I click on the diagnosis filters, select active, and give it a green tick. You can confirm that those filters have been put on because you can see them collecting up the top here along the filters. My next step is to go to the unmapped diagnosis to generate a list of all the diagnoses that our patients have that are not coded. I'm going to go to the search function and type in disability. Depending on what your clinicians have entered in, you'll see a range of things come up, and I can see that there's a few intellectual disability options. Select all the ones that I want to include and give it a green tick. I can see now that there are 20 patients that have an uncoded diagnosis of intellectual disability. I can go up the top right-hand corner now, generate a patient list, and give that to one of my clinicians to go into those patient files and make sure we enter a coded diagnosis. That is, that we select from the drop-down box.